Hello. I have come to do the first part of a little mini series I'm going to do, and it's related to the challenge that I'm going to put up in my group, and it's to do with altered notebooks. Nothing special, no particular notebooks. I've got a few here that I'm going to be using. So this one is a sketchbook, and so is the black one, and they are A5. I have one of the A5s that I've actually cut in half. I have an exercise book. It's not an expensive one. It does have a reasonable cover on it, but it's not, it's not a pricey one. And I have another one that I've cut down it's almost a traveller's notebook size. And then I do have a traveller's notebook. So if you can see, this one is slightly smaller than the exercise book, and this one has square lines in it. So I'm going to do 3, maybe 4 different types of notebook. Really basic, really straightforward, just embellishing them and a nice way to make something for Happy Mail. So the challenge for my group is related to this, and obviously there'll be more details in my group later on. So the first one I'm going to do, and just move those aside, I'm going to use this particular one. Now, I did already film this, and it was a disaster because the door kept going, the phone kept ringing, and the pond was sinking that we only put in yesterday. So I was trying to, deal with a load of stuff, and everything about the video went horribly wrong. Not just general mistakes. So I'm going to refilm, and I'm going to make this a much more straightforward, basic one, but I will show you the one I made before. Now, I am using some new kits by Susan Taylor Brown, who is Poppiness on Etsy. She has the most fantastic eco dye kits. That one was the smaller one. Can you see how gorgeous? Sorry, I'm looking backwards. How gorgeous that is. And this one. The kits include much more than I have printed off. I've just printed off what I need for this project for the second time. Although I have left some on the printer, I believe. I'm also going to be using this one. This one. Sorry. My Mac used to be really close by, and it will be again soon, but at the moment it's the other side of the room, and I keep having to turn around to look at what I'm filming. So I'm going to use this one. Where am I? Oh, thank you. Might use this one. I used both of them in the previous project, but I'm making this one a bit more straightforward. So I actually really like this, but I do really like that. Oh, it's such a difficult decision. Right, I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to pop Susan's links down below. Please do go and check her out, because honestly, she has some amazing kits. So I'm just going to open up my trimmer. Now I know I'm going to want it. Make sure just put that in frame a little bit more. I know that I'm going to want it the full width. And I know it's a bit wobbly because I'm trying to keep the trimmer in shot, which means it's hanging off the desk slightly. Sorry about the wobble. I'm also going to use a quotes page from Susan's shop, but the only thing with that is I have already torn one quote off. I don't know whether I didn't print this properly or I didn't cut it properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my notepad and grab, as always, I do not have a pencil with a sharp end. Where's my pencil gone? Right, I'm going to have to use a pen. Sorry, I'm going to have to use a pen. Right. What I want to do is I'm going to have this fairly close to the edge, but I want a little gap here because I'm actually going to put fabric on the spine. So I'm going to put a little line there. Then I'm going to have a back piece as well. Actually, what I'm going to do to make this even easier is I'm just going to do this just to the side. I'm folding it in half and I'm going to use that line to cut both at once. And I really didn't cut this straight at all. I'm just going to have to straighten up my edges. That's really poor cutting. I don't know what I did. I'm not sure what I did there. In the previous video, I did keep saying some days you're just not supposed to film. And I think today was... Oh, that's never done that before. Look at the state of that. Another example of I really shouldn't be filming today. Really shouldn't. Okay, so where's my little line? Cut it off, haven't I? I've cut off my little line. Right, okay, let's do another little line. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, there's the end of the little line. Oh, you could just about see it. I didn't cut it all off. Right, I'm going to line this up and cut both of these pieces together. Keeping it simple. Keeping it simple. For a change. Okay, so that, oh my days, it's so pretty, but I do want to put a pocket on the front. I did a really bad job of cutting that as well, look at it. Oh my days. Yeah, you can see one pond sunk. I can't... I'm not very good at doing anything straight, and clearly the other half's not any better. Because, okay, do you know what? What I'm going to do to decide what I'm going to put on the front is I'm actually going to cut the pocket out that I want to use, and I want to use this one. Again, I used it in the previous video, but what I'm going to do is just decide which bit I can live with covering up. Okay, so I mean, you know, these eco prints, it's absolutely fine to kind of have them upside down. I absolutely love this, but I think I'm going to put this one on the front just because there's kind of a blankish area here, although there's some really pretty prints. I'm going to put this here. I quite like that. Right, so nice and simple. I am going to ink around everything and I will speed it up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off and stitch this area here. So I've sewn along the top, and now I'm going to sew this into place on my front cover. So I'll be right back. Okay, so that's all sewn on. I'm just going to grab my little scissors and I'm going to snip these back threads, and I'm going to snip a little bit of the front. Okay, So that's that part done. Now what I want to do is I'm going to sew a straight stitch around here, but I'm only going to do the 3 edges because this edge is going to be covered up with fabric, so I'm not going to worry about sewing that, but I'm just going to run a straight stitch around 3 sides of my back and front cover. Okay, so they're both straight stitched around, and I've got my pocket here, and as you can see, this stitching will all be covered up when we put our cover on, which we're going to do now. Get rid of this funky glue. I'm going to glue a little bit closer to that edge in a minute. I'm just going to start it off. Oh, it's really difficult. I mean, when I first started, I used to use a camera, and I used to have to check the viewfinder to see whether I was in frame, and I was constantly standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up. And now I've, got used to having, I use Air Server, which is great, but moving the Mac wasn't a good idea. Don't think things through quite often, obviously. Ooh, got a bit of glue there. Right, I'm going to line this up with as even a border as I possibly can. Find my also, I've got a brayer. I use my brayer rather than my bone fold. I've got about 10 bone folders, but of course can't find one. So that's looking pretty cool. Really liking that. Very, very straightforward as well. Nice and easy project. And when you're working with these beautiful eco prints, it's hard not to kind of make something gorgeous. Don't know if you could hear that. That's my daughter sneezing upstairs. She gets really bad hay fever, poor girl. Oh, I've got glue on my Arteza mat. Hopefully that will come off. I'm putting a nice amount of glue on here. I want this to stick, as you can see. Okay. So just add the back cover. Open that out. The brayer out again. Oh, that came off very easily, actually. Good-o. Okay, so that's that done. Now I have somewhere here. I do honestly have some calico. Here we go. So this is just a calico fabric, and I'm gonna just rip at this. And I don't want to cover up too much of this gorgeous paper, so maybe I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches maximum piece. I'm gonna tear off. Now I'm not actually worried about having stitching down here. We could stitch it, but I'm not sure. Such a small spine piece we're putting on. I'm just using my fingers to push a crease into this. I mean, none of this needs to be sewn. It would look just as good without being sewn. I don't think we need to sew that. I think that's kind kind of cool without sewing. Okay, so I'm gonna add a bit of glue kind of to the width of the fabric at the top and the bottom, and then I'm just gonna wiggle a little bit of glue on the fabric itself. Not too much because we don't want it to bleed through. It's not too bad with calico, to be honest. It's not like muslin. It's a bit of a thicker cotton fabric. I'm just going to line that crease up with the edge of my book and just fold that in. Oh, I didn't quite get that even, but that's fine. And I'm going to do the same on the back. Sometimes simple is just as nice as trying to make something more complicated when you're using lovely digitals. I mean, these make great gifts, which is why, you know, I think this is kind of a happy mail made project. Okay, so I'm gonna snip off my ends, and I'm just gonna, oh, that one's not very close actually. I'm gonna just give these a little, that's a bit too far away as well. Okay. Cool. Just going to ink this a little bit. Okay, that's done. So there is room to put obviously quite a big tag in here, but let me just have a little look. What could I use? I think we're getting a bit busy now. What, from my lovely friend Wendy, hi Wendy, I got these lovely tags which are so usable. I really love these, and I thought, oh, I'll order some more, and I thought I had, however I got these. Spot the mistake. So I'm going to use one of those, and I'm going to use one of these. Now, one of the kits in Susan's lovely shop are these upside down fantastic minis. Now I am going to pick one. Let's go for the little girls here. Now obviously you can put a full-size tag in this pocket, but I'm not going to put a full-size tag in the pocket. I'm going to use one of these. Just ink the edge of that. I'm going to ink the edge of this. My brush. I'm going to give this a brush. And then I'm going to pop the cotton on my ink pad and just run that through, give that a bit of colour. And I'm going to do the same with the little one. This one is slightly darker, so it looks slightly darker than this one. I'm just going to ink this a little bit more. Okay, right, now before I put that away, Going to grab my faithful old stamp, script stamp. And just give this a stamp. And we may as well do that one too. Ooh. Now, as well as printing this full size, I've printed it at 65%, I think I printed this. And I'm going to cut this end one out because my plan is to make some tiny tags with these and these. So let's start with this one. Inches of this. Now this one I'm just going to stick straight on to the tag. And go for a little jaunty angle. How cute is that? And this one I am going to pop behind a little piece of fabric, and I have some of this burlap or hessian, and it's quite white. I'm just going to check. Yeah, I don't think that will have any problems getting in that pocket. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm absolutely pants at getting these square and lining up the grain or weave of the thread. So I'm sticking this on a bigger piece than I need, and I'm lining it up with the lines, and now I'm going to cut it out. I have no idea why I'm using these teeny tiny scissors. They were just right by my hand. Sorry, I just take it offside because I just like the debris to be out of my workspace. So I have a little pile of junk just to my right. Now I'm going to take one of these out, either side. Let me ink this up. Some ink. No, give it a glue. Give it some glue. I'm going to use quite a bit of glue for this. And I'm going to have that at a little jaunty angle too. Okay, I'm going to give that a minute to dry before I pop it in the pocket because the glue still comes. I'm just going to turn this over and push down on it from this side. I don't get glue on that image. Okay. Now what my plan is to take both of the cords, just working out if this is going to work. I don't know if we'll just try and see. So I'm going to just tie those together like so. So there are the two tags. I'm going to tuck the large one into the pocket and hope that the front one hangs over there quite nicely. Okay, so we've got that. Well, now obviously that tag, maybe I have to pull that out very slightly. There we go. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but I quite like that little double tag. So this one is now finished. So this is Altered Notebook number 1, using kits from Poppiness on Etsy, which is the lovely Susan. And I do have to say a massive thank you and shout out to Susan and to Maggie and to Michelle and to Debs, who help moderate my group, and my other half Jay. Actually, he too helps moderate the group. So thank you to everyone for helping out. So Susan, I hope you like what I did, but I am going to quickly show you the previous one before I start to film episode number 2 of this mini series. So this is the one that I made first of all, and obviously it's a bit more impressive in terms of what's involved, but it was actually a complete nightmare of a video. So I'm just going to talk you through what I did. It's actually exactly the same notebook, but what I did was I took a piece of cardstock and scored it so it made a closure for the back. And I also took a piece of cardstock and reinforced, so this cover is much, much thicker than the cover on the original notebook. One thing I haven't used is the quotes, because there are some amazing quotes in Susan's store, and I've included one here. I was going to put one, maybe we will still put one on. Let's have a look. This is what I have left, but actually I don't want to put a quote on here because I'm really happy with how that cover looks. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to put another quote on. But these will be something I use a lot. So yeah, it constructed the same. I've done a zigzag stitch onto the cardstock, and then I glued the cardstock onto the notebook cover. And there's the little tag I made for this one. So I'm just going to explain very briefly about these altered notebooks. I wanted them to be a really quick and easy project because I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that people in my group will actually use these for Happy Mail and send out to other wonderful members of the group. So this one and this one will be going out from me to people on the rack list in my group. Now I'm just literally going to randomly pick people off the list. So I'm not sure who's going to receive them. I'm just going to go through the list. In actual fact, I might get someone else to just pick some random names for me. My daughter, maybe. And I have more to come. There will be other notebooks because I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3. So, Susan, thank you for your wonderful kits. I really love them. Some amazing images and beautiful work. I just love your eco dyeing. It's so unique. So I will say goodbye for now and start filming the second instalment. Bye.